Hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to my channel. If you are looking for a super simple, beginner-friendly sewing project, this is for you. We are making today a pillow. So this is super quick, comes together very easily, minimal supplies needed, and it is a very beginner-friendly project. So this is, you can make this as a throw pillow. This particular one I am going to be giving to my nephew, and it's perfect for, you know, sitting down and watching a movie. They can use it as a little cushion, or for, you know, sitting down to watch a movie and they want to lay on it or whatever, you know, just nice little cute project. And you can make it in any print that you want. There's so many cute prints out there. You can customize it to whoever you're giving it to. So my nephew is not even 2, so he doesn't exactly have hobbies or interests yet, you know, so I went with just a basic sports one. I'm gonna make one for my niece who is 3, so I'm going to visit them here soon, so that is the plan for these. But yeah, super easy, and I'll show you step by step. This is great for beginners, and yeah, if this is your first time sewing, this is an awesome project for you. Or if you've been sewing for a long time and just want something easy that you don't, you know, have to put a ton of thought or effort into, this is perfect. So come along and I'll show you all the supplies that you need and how to make it. All right, so all we're gonna need is some fabric. So I'm using 2 fat quarters here, and I've already pressed them. They're still a little wrinkled. They've been sitting for probably several years, but that's fine. So we need some 2 fat quarters, a pair of scissors, some polyfil. So this is 8 ounces. I'm gonna see if that is sufficient for this, and I will put a little blurb here if that is not. So this I got at an estate sale a very long time ago, and it's still all sealed and everything, so it should be okay. And then we need some clips and our sewing machine with coordinating thread, and that's it. It's super simple. So we're just going to go ahead and take our 2 fat quarters. We're not even going to trim them up, so this will be a nice big pillow here, and we're going to take them and place them right sides together. And then we're just going to go ahead and clip all the way around, but we're gonna leave a gap, probably like a hand width, about that. You don't have to get specific on it or anything like that. You can mark it with a pen if you want, but again, I'm just gonna look for where the gap in my clips is, and that's where I know that my opening is. And we'll just clip the whole way around. Now, one thing that you can do just to kind of help mark the, you know, center or where you're going to turn it is put 2 clips on either side of it, like butting up against each other. And when you come across the 2 clips, so we're going to start sewing here. I always do that. So we're going to start sewing here and sew all the way around at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And when we get back to these double clips, that's how we know that we are done. If I'm using pins, what I like to do, so if you're using pins, one thing that I'll do is at the start here, instead of the clips, I will take my pins and just put them in a little X like that, and that marks where I start and stop. So it's very clear when I get to those that that is where I need to start and stop my stitching. So just another way to like not have to mark on the fabric. I'm always paranoid that I'm going to get like pen or marker or something like that in a spot that I don't want it to, and I don't have the disappearing stuff. So all right, so I'm going to go ahead and start here. Like I said, just sew all the way around. When you get to the corners here, we're going to stop with our needle down, pivot, lift our presser foot up, pivot, and just keep right on sewing. I'll show you what we do when we get there. All right, now I am turning my stitch length all the way down to a 2, just because the fabric is very thin. So I'm going to go ahead and right at those clips there, I'm going to go ahead and put my needle down, back stitch just a couple times just to lock everything in place, and start sewing at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. When I get to my clips, I'll just go ahead and remove those. All right, now when I get to the corner here, when I think I'm at about a 1/2 inch away from the edge here, I'm gonna keep my needle down, lift my presser foot, and shift it over. And then once you get here, you can see if you're at that 1/2 inch. I am a little far, so I'm gonna turn it back, put my presser foot back down, and I'm gonna do 2 more stitches, lift it up, bring it back, and now I can see that I am at my 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I'll put my presser foot back down and keep on sewing again. All right, so I'm back at the corner here, again with my needle down, lift my presser foot, pivot over, and I gauged it right. I am at a 1/2 inch this time. So we'll go ahead and just sew again. It keeps falling off the table. All right, now I'm back at my double clips, so that tells me that I am at the other side of my opening where I want to leave it. So I'm going to move these clips out of the way, just sew a little bit more, and then back stitch a couple times to lock my stitches in place. And then cut my threads, which my machine has a thread cutter. And then I'm just going to go back, and these tails from where I started, clip those. And then with my scissors here, I'm going to go ahead and on all of the corners here, I'm just going to go ahead and snip close to my stitches, but not through it. Maybe like an 1/8 of an inch or a 1/16 of an inch away from the stitches. So what that does is when we go to flip this right side out, all of this fabric here is trying to push into that corner, and it kind of makes more of like a rounded, bunched up corner, versus when we snip the fabric here, there's less bulk right there, so this corner is going to be able to poke out a little bit better. Which on a pillow, I don't know how much that really matters, but so we're just doing that to all of our corners. And if you do accidentally get too close and you cut through your stitches over here, you just are going to want to take it back over to the sewing machine and just, you know, kind of have your stitching come just a little bit further down, maybe like another 1/8 of an inch. Just kind of slowly work your way over and then slowly work your way back, starting maybe a couple inches down on either side, just to reinforce those stitches again, because you don't want a hole where all of the stuffing and everything is coming out of. All right, so we have it all sewed up. Now, an optional thing that you can do totally optional. It's just so that like this isn't fraying on the inside of the pillow. But if this is going to be washed a bunch, it'll just kind of hold up a little bit better if the inside seam is not fraying. So totally optional, but we can go ahead and use our pinking shears. To clip that. And that just stops this seam from fraying quite as much when you're washing it. Now, if you're using this as like a decorative pillow or something like that, and you don't plan on having to wash it all that frequently, then this probably isn't necessary. But this particular one, I am going to be giving to my nephew for him to like, I'm making one for my niece and my nephew for them to, you know, they can sit on it while they're watching TV or, you know, lay on it, use it as an actual pillow, whatever. And he is not yet 2 years old, so this will need washed excessively, I'm sure. Now, if you are using the pinking shears, you don't want to trim down the seam allowance here where we left the opening, because we need to have some fabric there that we can take and sew closed. It'll make sense when we turn it. So I just kind of angle in at the opening, so I leave this untrimmed. Okay, so we got that all trimmed back. All of the corners are clipped. So I'm gonna go ahead and reach inside and give it a tug and just turn it all right side out through that hole that we left. And then on each of the corners here, we'll just go ahead and, if you can't get it poked out nicely just using your finger, you can use like the blunt edge of some scissors here. You wouldn't want to use like sharp pointy scissors like this, but something blunt like that you could use. Don't push too hard because you can tear the fabric. So now we just need to take our batting and when it's all packaged up like this, it's very compressed. So I like to just go and kind of fluff it a little bit. And then we'll just take little chunks of it and right in through that opening there, just start stuffing it. And once you start getting it kind of full, you're going to want to take the batting here and just kind of push it out into the corners, because these can kind of get, you know, flat, and or so we just want to make sure that we're pushing that batting right up into the corner there. Do that on this one too. think, honestly, for a fat quarter, I think this amount of batting will be good. And I'm going to go ahead and take a few pieces of the batting and shove them into these front corners here too. Depending on how full or how stuffed you want the pillow to be, I guess. For a kid's pillow, I think this is a good amount. If you are wanting this to be like a throw pillow, those tend to be like, have that like overstuffed look. You might want a little bit more. All right, now I am gonna go the easy route closing this up. At least to me, it's the easy route. But we're just gonna go ahead and the fabric is just kind of naturally trying to fold in on itself, which is perfect because I'm just going to go ahead and pull it taut here, pinch it close with my fingers, and pop a few clips on it. So I am just trying to get the fold of this to come together just like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a very close to the edge over here, about an 1/8 or a 1/16 of an inch seam allowance, sewing that closed. And for this, I'm going to go up to a 2.5 stitch length, just because we are going through 4 layers of fabric now. And you do kind of have to squish the batting out of your way, but we'll go ahead and reshape it once we're done. So right on the edge here, backstitch a couple times, and I'm starting back where it is closed. So over here is where I've already sewn. So it's probably about a 1/4 inch or so, or not a 1/4 inch, probably like a 1/2 inch or even an inch into the spot where I've already sewn, just so that I am making sure that I am closing up this entire hole here. I'm just going to go nice and slow, like I said, as close to the edge of the fabric as you can get, knowing that you are catching both sides of it. And then I just kind of take a look, and it looks like the hole stops right at this little white tick mark here. So I know that I need to go past that white tick mark. All right, I've passed it. So I'm going to back stitch a couple stitches, go forward again, back stitch a couple times, just, you know, kind of rock back and forth a little bit, and that really locks in our stitches. And we can cut our stitching, or cut our threads, whatever I'm trying to say. Trim off the tails. All right, so then this is where we closed it up. So it's a little flattened over here, so we're just gonna go ahead and kind of just try and reshape it a little bit. And I am gonna definitely wanna get my lint roller out because some of the batting is just kind of sticking out over here. But there we go. Here is a nice little pillow. Again, for a toddler, this would be a great little thing for, you know, oh, it's movie time or it's Miss Rachel time. Let's go ahead and sit down on here and we can watch it with a snack, or they can use this as a pillow while they're sitting down to watch a movie. So yeah, just a fun little project, and it comes together very, very quick. All right, well, there we go. That is our beginner-friendly pillow, whether that's a throw pillow or pillow for a child or pillow for you. I don't, whatever you want to do with it. Super easy to make, comes together very quickly, and yeah, it's just a fun little project. And if you have, a good amount of fabric that you want to use up, this is a fun project for that. So if you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions or coming across any issues or anything like that. I try my best to answer any questions that you have, but there's also some other great people that might be able to help you out too with your questions if I can't, or if I miss your comment, which I try my best not to. But and make sure to subscribe to stay tuned for other videos. I'll see you next time. Bye.